Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Cambo Campbell.
Hello, Nelson.
Hello, Cambo.
Can I quickly tell you something? This is pretty embarrassing as well. Sometimes, genuinely, I forget kind of what my age is.
Oh, no.
And I did something this morning that it made me realize that I'm not as young as once I was.
Yeah.
I was out and about on the road about 10:30 or so. Mm-hmm. Had to get petrol for my car.
Yeah.
Stopped at a petrol station, but also
petrol. Oh, old man. It's all about electric now.
I know, that's true. That's aged me already. I wound up my car, started up.
Yeah.
I got to the petrol station and I thought, I haven't had breakfast. Maybe I should get something to eat while I'm here. Like, while I'm in there, I'll pick up something small to eat.
Yeah.
Obviously, petrol stations, they have the biggest range of food.
Yeah. Unless you live in Japan.
Yeah, then that's amazing. They're more just standalone.
Yeah, that's
stores.
true. Yeah.
So, for some reason, Nelson, at 10:30 in the morning, I thought, I have a pie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it wasn't even a full pie. It was like, the
traveller one.
The traveller one.
I appreciate the traveller pies.
A miniature version.
The regular
pies. I didn't want to eat a whole thing.
It's so messy to eat.
And I still feel like absolute shit.
Oh, okay.
Just that in my 20s, I would have eaten that and been like, great, energy, yum, yum. I'll burn that off, no problem.
Yeah.
Immediately halfway through the pie, I was like, oh, I regret this so much. Why did I eat? Why is this the first thing I've eaten today?
Yeah.
That's a horrendous mistake. And I just haven't eaten lunch since because my eyes still don't feel good. And isn't that a real sign that's like, oh man, a simple miniature pie just defeated me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's depressing when you learn these things. Learn these things about you.
Because I did have the thought, I'm like, can I not eat pies anymore? Is that just something that I can't handle anymore?
Yeah, actually, I had a pie this morning. It was a party pie.
Were you at a party this morning?
Yeah, I was at a rager, and. Yeah, but I think that's probably the limit.
Yeah, well, because you're right.
It's like a mouthful.
You gave blood this morning.
Yeah.
And in Australia, they do often give you some kind of hot pastry.
Yeah.
When you finish doing it.
It's meat pies, we should say.
Yeah.
I think pie in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Not meat-based.
You're totally right. This is a savory meat pie. It's like meat and gravy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. If I give blood, I normally have one or two of those and I feel fine, but that probably is maybe where my thing is now. But also, I've had homemade pie and it's fine. I think it's whatever this processed this processed food at a service station.
What we've put in this pie will last a millennia inside your stomach. Yeah, that's true. Well, we're old, Cambo. What are you going to do about it?
No, probably do a podcast where we don't understand half of Reddit anymore. One of us got so grumpy he quit.
It's going to be so... yeah, that's true. That's exactly true. It's going to be so awkward when we're 60 and doing this.
Yeah, and they'll be like,
what's a Reddit?
Here's a new segment. It's called Music Isn't As Good Anymore. Music used to be good when I used to listen to American Idiot by Green Day.
Yeah.
Why are they making albums like that anymore?
You're like, who was that post by? I'm like, no, it was just me. What's this?
Where am I?
God, I've lost my mind at 60. That tracks.
There's no movie stars anymore. I don't know where anyone is.
Anyway, here's one by Reloki, but originally cross-posted by Gunfish Caking. It's probably not necessary to put the word back in horseback riding. As a one-liner.
Yeah.
What I think, we should do the opposite. It's just back riding. We just call it back riding now. And people infer the horse. Name another animal that you can ride on the back of.
An elephant, a donkey, a camel.
No. You can't. Okay, let me explain this. An elephant?
Yeah.
I've ridden on an elephant before. Mm-hmm. You're more like back of neck.
Yeah, okay, yep. Camel you're between humps.
Obviously. That's
donkey. Yeah. Donkey's a difficult one.
Don't ride donkeys. Don't.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing for you. So,
do you think this is going to be a bit dark? But I remember in high school And there's even allusions to this in the movie Clerks too. Mm-hmm. There were rumors of like weird bestiality videos that were like urban legend on the internet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one of them was that a woman had sex with a horse.
Right.
And the horse is so well endowed, the urban legend is that it like killed her.
Okay.
Look, definitely not true.
Crazy.
Right?
Don't even know the
Actually,
logistics
I can't
of
even
all
say
of
that's
that.
not true. The internet's a wild place. It could be out there. But do you think after that they had to start specifying horseback riding?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just riding the horse. Well, horseback.
Don't. Yeah, I wasn't like that. That lady. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. The term horseback riding never existed. It was always horse riding. And then somebody had to come along and fuck a horse. Really ruined it for the rest of us. Anyway, let's get into it. This first Reddit on Reddit is by was probably supposed to do this by Gone Emotionally, but it was originally by Caleb Bunt, and it was in the subreddit Low Stakes Conspiracies.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I don't know this subreddit, but I love the sound of it.
It sounds great already, doesn't it? The most extreme takes on American politics on the internet come from non-Americans. I'm not talking about deliberate, malicious propaganda actions by foreign governments, like stuff that Russia and I think China does. Rather, due to the power and influence of the US government, there are a significant number of non-Americans who are invested in American politics and post about it on the internet. I think these people tend to have more extreme takes than Americans themselves because they have a little connection to the country itself outside of the media they consume. Example. Mm-hmm. Okay, this example, have you read this, by the way? Okay. This example, I felt like I was sort of understanding where this person was going.
Okay.
And then this example has really thrown me off.
Example.
My uncle, who is an Indian living in India, told me that he thinks illegal immigrants who come to the US ought to be shot and killed. That's not the sort of like crazy, malicious actions that people are taking, I feel like, when they talk about America. Like, it's just such a weird view to be like, oh, he's a non-American and he doesn't get it. He just wants to kill all the... I would say, arguably, a lot of people are more pro-immigrant.
Yeah, I would say more people are actually shocked at what America is doing to immigrants than being
Building
like, oh, just kill them all.
Insane. Like, it's just such a weird thing.
Putting people in a detention center with seemingly no actual proof of crime.
Yeah.
And look, is there more to this post? Otherwise,
there is a bit more. Yeah, we should maybe touch back on that anyway, because Australia has arguably an immigrant problem, if you want to call it, too.
And spotty history.
Yeah,
like spotty history of like mistreatment and over acceptance of immigrants, and then going way back the other way, and stop trying to stop all immigrate, depending on which government.
Immigration is a tricky issue. Yeah, but the idea that
let's solve it.
Yeah, okay, shoot them. Anyway, while that sentiment clearly exists in the US, in my opinion, it's far from what the average American believes. Likewise, I have seen a lot of posts on Reddit that are extremely hostile to American conservatives. Mm-hmm. While this is normal to an extent, given what Trump is doing, I do think foreigners are amplifying the hostility. Because at least as an American, one that has voted blue in practically every election since I turned 18, I find it hard to really hate conservative voters when these people are literally my friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, etc. Maybe it's different for me because I live in a red state, but I think it's a common American experience.
Yeah. First of all, they're doing the most American thing I can possibly think of, and they're blaming their issues on foreigners. Which,
number one.
You're already proving the point. Yeah. Look, I can only speak from, I guess, my lived experience, and only, I guess, for the country that I live in, which, to be clear, is not New Zealand. We are not New Zealand. Yeah. We're not British. We're Australian, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anytime American politics comes up, people just go, I don't know, it looks dumb.
Yeah. To us, I think we cannot stress enough, I would say, how much of like the current administration is an absolute clown show.
Yeah.
That's entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
It's like entertaining and depressing at the same time. Like, I think probably the difference here is the American probably not experiencing or understanding the politics of other countries. And I will say, granted, I don't really know much politics about other countries. Even Britain, which I'm not really... we're meant to be part of. We're arguably.
Can you at least name the British
line.
Prime Minister?
Not at the moment. No idea.
Really?
No, I don't know.
It's the most boring man in the world, Joseph.
Yeah, I know it was what's his name, but then
it's Keir Starmer at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like I watch enough British panel shows to be
right,
adjacent to vaguely what's going on there.
Yeah. But obviously, like, America is in the spotlight because of what they said. They're like a superpower or whatever. But I think that's why so many people comment on it, though, is because they're like, not even our government is as fucking crazy as what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that it might come out as like, oh, it's just all non-Americans. It's like, yeah, but it's because it's not just because of this unorthodox, like, hatred of America. We don't hate America or anything. It's that we are comparing America to our own country.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, there's very few countries that you can compare the politics of that country to America and go, it's about the same. So we will call it a draw.
Yeah.
It's so, like, viewing Americans' view of politics is like your politics to a lot of the world, it's all conservative.
Yeah.
Confusingly, our conservative government is called the Liberal government, but in America, that would be the Liberal government, like, leading wise. Like, even our conservative government, we still have universal health care, and they all agree and love that, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, some of them are trying to get rid of it, but...
Well, yeah.
my point is that, like, even your Liberal Party in America... to us has some pretty conservative views around stuff like that. Because they're like, we don't know whether healthcare will work or not, but we maybe would do a trial of it. And the rest of the world's like, what are you doing?
They know what they're doing.
To be clear.
There's a lot of people that make a lot of money from... I mean, it's not that we are immune from that sort of stuff, too. Like, we just went through an election in Australia.
Americans, can anyone, before we reveal this, tell us either of the people that were in our election? Write in, just before we talk about this, write in right now who you think at least one of the people are in our election. Just to put a perspective on, like, how small our political indent is in the world.
Anywho.
Yeah.
So... Well, now I guess I need to say Anthony Albanese one of the Labour Party, who is, and to also be clear, like, our parties are they're very similarly aligned.
Yeah.
One's just slightly more right-leaning, but like, they're both not really.
They're both run by companies, like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, in the election, something that came up was, like, how much Australia spends on coal and oil versus what we export it out as, and we're basically giving, like, you know, really good deals to other countries. But you look like somewhere in Saudi Arabia, who, I mean, okay, they got flaws too, but the point is they invested in their own resources as a country, and their country
they're doing all right. Money-wise.
Is known.
Not always policy-wise.
Is known as, like, you know, one of the richest countries in the world. I think maybe I just made that up. I don't know. But it's because they, like, understood to invest in themselves as a country, whereas I feel like we've got similar resources, maybe not as abundant. I don't know. But we're so about the privatization of selling that stuff. Yeah. And it's just about individuals getting wealthy, and so anyway, that's like a whole other thing. But my point is that a lot of this comes from policies and the lack of policies stemming from our parties being in the pockets of big organizations that are sponsoring all their their elections and whatnot. And it's just it's a vicious cycle to get out of. And I think America is like absolutely caught up in that as well. A lot of countries are. It's very difficult not to, I think, to have. Yeah. I mean, what's really great about America at the moment is Musk's involvement in politics. It's great.
You love that as well because you always clap whenever he comes on TV.
Yeah.
And you say, I wish he was still the patron saint of the podcast.
No, it's great because it really highlights it's not even a joke about the billionaires running a country anymore. It's like, oh no, he's there. Like he's in the spotlight. They're not meant to be in the spotlight. I imagine there's a bunch of other billionaires being like,
Rupert Murdoch must be like, dude, come on, I spent like 40 years doing this in the shadows. What are you doing?
Desperately trying to not be in the spotlight by saying I control the country. And anyway. It's crazy. I don't know where that was going, but
this is as we veer into middle age, Nelson.
Yeah.
Just the odd political tangent.
Anywho, I was gonna say somebody added a comment here, but it was AdDramatic8568. As a non-American who lived in the US for a bit, I would say there is not a single viewpoint I have seen expressed online that Americans do not express themselves within their own country. There are constant articles being written by Americans for Americans about the extreme nature of politics within the states. Every country has conservatives. Every country has the hard right. Not every country willingly elected a rapist. I think it's unfair to be aware of the sheer political force that the USA has and the power that it's willing to wield to the detriment of other countries, and then also expect people who can't actually influence the USA's decisions to be more balanced about the state of things.
Yeah, that's true. And look, to that point, I think that's an interesting point. The reason we know anything is because you guys won't shut up about it. Everything we know about American politics, we have not looked up. I haven't looked up a goddamn thing about the whole country's political system.
Get shoved in our faces.
Get shoved in our faces.
Yeah, that's true. And
we're polite enough. You don't even know who Peter Dutton is, and you're so welcome. We don't share that with the world.
You know what? You don't want to know who he is. Turns out most of Australia didn't want to know who he was either. He really lost that election hard.
That's one of the weird knock-on effects of Trump going so hard. The rest of the world are all like, well, fuck that.
Yeah.
And Peter Dutton was, I mean, he wasn't Trump, but he definitely was leaning toward that.
Well, it is kind of funny because there's this weird thing in Australia where it's like, there feels like there's this appetite for that more conservative, like American conservative viewpoints. In fact, a really big one we should talk about. So a policy that Peter Dutton had created was saying that all public servants were going to have to work from work. There was no going to be
no work from home
anymore. And they ended up pulling this policy during the election race because they obviously just realized that there was such huge backlash about it. Because there was a thing like, well, I think people identified, well, if the public servants are going back, I'm not a public servant, but that's going to mean my company is more likely to have me work in the office. And there was like some other parts about it too, where he was like, oh, women on maternity leave that only want to work part-time should, I don't know, not get paid the amount of days they work. I don't know. It was like a stupid thing.
A bunch of like weird dog whistles.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to remove the Indigenous flag from all press conferences, stuff like that.
Yeah. And so some of those things kind of aligned to America. But I think they were still aware, Australians as a whole, the majority of Australians, don't want to turn into America. Yes. And there was another party, though, called Trumpet of Patriots, which is the most fucked up. It's literally like an homage to Trump.
Yeah.
And they are just they're basically saying we could be America. We could be America, guys. Yeah. And we're like, no.
They did this thing where they somehow just purchased most of the country's phone numbers.
Yeah.
And would just text you.
Yeah.
And you couldn't opt out ever.
Yeah.
There's no opt out for their text. They're just like, cut immigration by 90% kind of text and stuff. But what I find really interesting is between us and like Canada is another example of this. where the conservative parties have been gaining momentum because the party in power maybe have been inefficient.
Yeah.
And then Trump came in.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, actually, let's not go that crazy. And both us and Canada have elected, or in our case, re-elected people that were like losing popularity.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, the other guy,
yeah,
he's too much like Trump. Right?
That's exactly it. Like, and it's difficult for them to say that they're not aligned with Trump at a certain point because they're like, well, both of you are kind of into the right, so we're just going to assume there's symmetry there, even if it was never going to be as extreme or anything.
Also, Jess, we've been talking about politics for a while, so we should move on in a sec. But the thing I found so funny about, like, we're such a small pond in world politics.
Yeah.
Is after our election, there were people that were saying, oh, well, Peter Dutton was a bit Trump-esque, even though we actually had a more Trump guy.
Yeah.
And someone asked at a press conference of Trump, like, oh, how do you feel about Australia re-electing, Anthony Albanese? First of all, he definitely thinks the Liberal Party is the left party in Australia, I think.
Right.
He goes, oh, yeah, I think it's Albanese. Yeah, I'm not, I don't know who this other guy even is.
I don't know who he ran against.
Would have absolutely shattered them.
It was like the biggest insult that could ever have come out of Trump. He's like, I don't even know who the fucking other guy was. That really threw because there's also this thing, right? So throughout we keep talking about it. I'm sorry, but there's this thing throughout the election that's like, how are you going to deal with the American administration? That's literally the question.
Yeah,
that's literally the question they're asked, and they just they say some bullshit about whatever. But it's funny because if like the fact that he didn't win, or like trying to say that, you can build relationship with whatever, and the president of the United States doesn't even know who you are. Like, you were so far from having a convincing argument that you could secure some good ties with America. Like, anyway.
Let's get back to some fun stuff.
Yes, let's get into Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit was cross-posted to us by the Catholic Titter, but it was originally by Lunatic. That's funny. What is that? This is also in the subreddit called
Ask Reddit, surely.
Oh, nah. Whoops. Yeah, Ask Reddit. Never mind. I was in Ask Reddit. What is the coolest last name you have ever heard?
I think I have maybe said this on the podcast before, but it's a combination of first and last name. Mm-hmm. But many moons ago, I was an extra on like films and TV. Mm-hmm. And when we're at the little agency building, there was a series of headshots of people that have just obviously either been cast or were being looked at for something. And at the top of the pile was a kid, probably about 12, red hair, freckles, and I would say maybe a little bit chubby. Mm-hmm. To say like it's almost a cliche of like what in a movie would be like a nerdy kid.
Yeah.
But his name was Billy Joe Renegade.
Yeah, that's a cool name. It's a cool name.
Man, that's awesome.
That was to counteract. His parents were like, we need to fix this.
And like
our genes are not going to help this boy. We're going to change his whole name.
Yeah.
Billy Joe Renegade.
Billy Joe Renegade is such a cool name. And I imagine you'd get cast on that name alone.
Yeah.
I got this Billy Joe Renegade. I don't care. Get him in the film.
Yeah, that's funny. He turns up. God, you'd be so disappointed, wouldn't you? I think probably the coolest last name I've ever heard is actually Nelson.
The last name?
Because it is a last name.
Okay.
Technically.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
So, case closed.
Name as someone with the last name Nelson that you enjoy and think is cool.
Steven Nelson.
Steven Nelson.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them. Yeah. There's lots of Nelson last names. I can't think of one person. But anyway, it's definitely a last name. And it's the coolest.
I've just opened the post here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah. Well, I want to
Wait, do I actually have one? Hold on. Let me think about last names. Oh, yeah, actually, there's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know the person. I know of the person.
Yeah.
Batman. which technically is Batman.
Batman, yeah. Yeah.
But like you would pronounce it Batman, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in today's age. I imagine when he was alive, he was like, oh, it's so embarrassing that I have to call myself Batman.
Yeah.
I'll change it to Batman and just to be less cool. But like now, it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
His offspring, maybe, I imagine. There's got to be some Batmans around.
I like to think of the rush that someone traveling to Melbourne from internationally must get when they see a sign on our highway that says, exit here for Batman Avenue.
Yeah.
Until then, then the crushing feeling they'll get the first time they ever meet someone and they call it Batman Avenue.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they go,
So not as fun anymore. Yeah. Really ruined the name Batman.
This is, again, I guess it's a combo of the first and last name sounding cool, but in the movie Inglourious Bastards, there is a section where a bunch of them go undercover as Italians. They're going to the theater. So there's Brad Pitt, this guy with him, Eli Roth, pretty cool name. And then there's a third guy there, the kind of a shorter little guy there. Yeah. His name in real life is Omar Doom.
Oh.
That's a cool name.
That's a pretty cool name.
Omar Doom and Billy Joe Renegade. I'd like to see them team up at some point.
Yeah. Actually, I know somebody else who has the last name. They're actually a judge. And their judge's name, no shit. Because they're always referred to as Judge last name.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. Is Raper.
Oh, no.
It's not good, is it?
No, that's not
But
good.
could you imagine going into a hearing and you're up against Judge Raper? You're like, oh, God.
Yeah, unless, imagine if you were convicted of that.
Yeah.
You're like, well, is this good for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, I once knew a guy whose last name was Desire.
Oh.
And he actually became a doctor. Oh. So his name is Dr. Desire.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into what some other people have
Yes,
said here.
yeah. I found one here from, you've probably got the same one, Android number 137.
Yep.
Said, my good friend's wife's best friend, so very close, is Native American, and her last name was White Killer.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. A little bit terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, so they did continue to say, I met her, she's sweet, didn't get around to asking her how her family got her last name, but I suspect it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, yeah. Like that for sure has the literal meaning White Killer.
Well, isn't that normally how Native American names come about?
Well, every name, like Smith,
well, yeah, that's true.
You were Smithers.
But I believe the Native Americans are even more direct than, like Bowman or something like that, where
yeah, right.
Archer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You couldn't have Black Killer as a name, could you?
No.
White Killer seems like okay because we're like, that's allowed. That's fair enough. We've really fucked up your people, but you couldn't have the name Black Killer.
No, especially if you're a judge, like you're as
well.
No. It's like, well, this is not going to be an impartial, kind of a sentencing, is it?
Yeah. Somebody else here, we read all the time. I knew someone with the last name Lovejoy. I thought that was a beautiful last name. That was a nice one.
Yeah, Lovejoy. Nice,
yeah.
And also colder.
You couldn't be a judge, could you?
No.
Judge Lovejoy.
You need.
I'm going to get out of this murder. No worries.
You need Judge Strict but fair.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Last one here, maybe. Colder than heat said, in middle school, our lunch ladies were Mrs. Payne and Mrs. Savage, and that was the combo for me.
That's good.
That sounds like a bad cop show from the 90s. Payne and Savage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Savage is a good one. There's one of the Mythbusters guys.
Yes, Adam
Savage. Mm-hmm. There's one here, Quackenbush. That's just a funny name.
Funny.
All right, let's get into shout outs.
So now,
whatever the other one.
Today I learned.
Today I learned.
And also sometimes advice.
This advice is by Thrower Alice 1. Female 24. I found out a horrible secret about my fiance, male 27. How do I confront him? This is a throwaway for obvious reasons. I'm not sure if this is allowed within the sub. If it isn't, please let me know. Yada, yada, yada. We've been together 3 years and 3 years and a half. odd way to
Weird
say
way to
that.
say that, yeah.
Everything had been great. In fact, I would say the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. He's been caring and sweet, just a little introverted. We've never had any serious arguments at all. But around 2 days ago, he fell asleep with his phone on. He has it set to never lock. So I decided to take a peek. Not really expecting to find anything about how I feel. Not really expecting to find anything, but now I feel really stupid for it. I have to say, just before we move on.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Never in a relationship. No, never in a healthy relationship have I ever thought I should go through a person's phone.
Yeah.
Like, never, ever. I think if you even just suspect it, feel like you might want to, or I don't know, if the opportunity arises and you do it, to me that's like
I've
you're
never had that urge.
Yeah.
And look, obviously, I'm probably about to eat my words because I don't know what this person has done.
Yeah.
But the fact that they don't have a lock on their phone is a huge green flag for me.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not hiding anything.
They don't get it at all. Yeah.
And it actually annoys me that I normally never have locks on my phone, except for security reasons. Now that I have my bank card and my house key technically on my phone, it makes you add a passcode.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I hate passcodes. Like, I really don't like
so annoying.
because to me, it's like, well, someone gets my phone, what are they going to do? Look at my photos? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You won't like them.
Yeah, exactly. I hate that. Yeah,
It's just a bunch of naked photos of me. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my Microsoft account that I just have at home makes me have a password.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want one.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Quick edit since I didn't make myself clear enough. These titles and some of the images are explicitly sexual in nature. They're ones he wrote as well. If it were only fascination, I could easily understand, but that's the part that has me shocked and confused. I found he collects videos and pictures of dead bodies, men and women. He even has several playlists on YouTube ranging from funerals to autopsies. They are perfectly organized. None of it is over the top violent, but it's all post-mortem. I'm talking about hundreds of these photos and videos. At first I tried to blame it on his grief and the fact that he's suffered way too many losses, nearly his entire family. However, these albums and playlists have titles with very inappropriate undertones. And then I also found he bookmarked 2 pages, both of which display pictures and stories of deceased people. Again, with very obviously sexual/romantic intent, and even explicitly so for the stories. I'm struggling to remember exactly what I saw because I was in shock, but think of these titles being kind of like dead beauties/hotties. He has never been violent or expressed any kind of sadism towards me or anyone else that I know of. He has spoken before about how he finds funerals and death to be quite peaceful and something he finds beauty in. But I never saw this as strange considering what he's been through. Now I'm not sure what he meant by that. I am honestly upset, but I haven't been able to really gather the courage to confront him about this. I mean, I'm so confused. I never saw anything like this before. If anyone could offer me any guidance on how to bring this up to him, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, this is one of those circumstances where sometimes when we do like advice ones, it's like, oh, my boyfriend, he's being a jerk or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, we're not qualified in anything, but I'll throw in my $2.
I'm qualified, get mate.
This is one where
I just recently did a course online. Yeah. I'm qualified.
This is one where I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am really unqualified to...
obviously break up with
I
this
think
is
you
fucking
both
creepy.
need therapy.
This is so creepy. Yeah, he 100% needs therapy.
You need it because you went through his phone.
Yeah.
And he needs it for other reasons, which are very apparent.
Exactly. You're not actually that secure in your relationship. This is super creepy AF. You tell him to go get therapy and then you peace out because that's too weird. It's strange. It's strange. And people...
we need to put ourselves in the shoes. So I'm so sorry to do this to your impending wife-to-be.
Okay.
But if you discovered this on Alan's phone, you went through her phone because you were curious.
Yeah.
So first of all, you need to go to therapy.
I need to go to therapy.
And you found albums on her phone, dead hotties.
Yeah, see, I don't think I could get past that. That's pretty messed up. I
She'd
love
come home.
Ellen a lot.
She'd come home and you'd be gone.
Should I be checking Ellen's phone? It's
like if it's a picture of James Dean, like, well, he is a dead hottie, to be fair.
yeah.
Like, but like if it's,
if she just had like alive hotties, I'd be like, fair enough.
Look at him.
Yeah.
This guy's carved out of marble, I think.
Like that's almost why I chose this one, because I thought this came so out of left field for me. The whole preamble and everything, I was like, where is this going? And then, dead bodies on his phone? Crazy.
As you were reading it, I was thinking in my head, is he texting other women? Like, what's this rascal up to?
That's what it's normally about.
Yeah.
Or it's like, he pictures of feet. He's got heaps of pictures of feet. Some of them are my feet. I don't even know when he took them. There's stuff like that that's normally on these posts.
Yeah.
But dead bodies is next level. That's crazy.
Jesus.
I think now you put yourself in the shoes.
Yeah.
You see this on Stacey's phone. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
First of all, I call you.
Okay.
That thing that we talked about happened.
Yeah.
I went through her phone. I was very curious.
You know how you're not with Ellen anymore because she has dead bodies. Well, crazy story.
I don't know whether she talked to Stacey or Stacey talked to Alan and who gave the idea to who.
Yeah.
But where are you right now?
Someone is the instigator of this thing.
Where are you right now? And is there room on your couch?
Yeah.
So I'm sending Stacey there and keeping the house.
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Maybe I'd flick through a few photos and be like, maybe I could get interested in this.
It's funny. Stacey and I do sometimes play a game called Deal Breakers.
Yeah.
Where you pitch something to the other, like, at what point is our relationship a deal breaker? And I would say I'm normally pretty lenient in that game.
I was going to say.
Stacey would be like, what if I shaved my head? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't love you because of your hair. It's nice. Your hair's very lovely, but...
The crazier part of this is I've heard Stacey's response to some of these, and sometimes you're like, what if I let my toenails grow out? She's like, dumped straight away. And you're like, I kind of thought our relationship was a bit stronger than this, and her bar is really you're doing an amazing job to stay with her because she would break up with you over anything.
But yeah, I think this is a deal breaker.
I think this is a deal breaker. And let's tick this one off the list.
We often mock Reddit for immediately jumping to break up with your partner.
Yeah.
But this is one of the rare times I'm sure the comments are filled with this.
This is why you need a bit like, look, you still love the person or whatever. I think you'd be like, do it in a public place because there's some connotations here that I think could go really poorly. You say, hey, you should get therapy on that. I'm going to leave you.
Yeah.
But if you get the therapy and then don't do this anymore, the next person who you love, you can just forget this ever happened.
Yeah.
And it'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
It's like if you murder somebody and then, go to jail. And then you come out, you serve your time. And then you come out of jail and then you get in a relationship that you never talk about it.
Hypothetically.
It's not like I've done that.
No.
I was treated a minor, so I got out early.
Yeah.
Like
that didn't happen.
That was not
Even
what
though
happened.
there is video footage of you entering a prison as a child, we have that on video.
Yeah.
That's been posted into our subreddit.
Yeah.
You've cleverly re-edited it to make it look like you're visiting someone in prison.
Yeah, that's right. I looked so cute and innocent.
That's how you lulled them in.
Anyway, let's get into shower thoughts.
We better be quick.
Yeah, it's going to be quick.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought was cross-posted to us by Gone Fish Caking. But it was written by the Smartass One. We just automatically assume that eggs in recipes means chicken eggs.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, is that like Western defaultism or is that global?
Yeah, like in,
Same with milk. Like, people listening would assume cow's milk.
You know what? Could you just use other eggs? Like, okay, let's think about like similarly aligned duck egg. Yeah. Surely you could replace chicken and duck egg.
Yeah. I mean,
and then
they probably taste different, but...
Yeah, but like I reckon not by much.
Yeah.
Not by much that you're going to really dramatically know the difference of. About like crocodile eggs.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, okay.
I've tried crocodile before. Just tastes like nothing. There's like any other beef or chicken or whatever. You like it's just...
Well, it tastes like chicken. Just do a chicken egg.
Yeah. Do crocodile eggs. That's all I'm saying. Can be. Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's like...
We once defaulted to assuming chicken egg. Do you remember this in Japan? we defaulted to thinking this is a chicken egg. And it turns out it wasn't an egg at all, Nelson. They tricked us.
Wasn't an egg at all. I will never trust the Japanese after that moment in our life.
That is the biggest twist I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I think we've told the story before, but they served an egg dish.
Yeah.
And we all commented on how good the egg was
It's
and
a
how
super
well it was cooked.
fancy restaurant, right? And we're like, this is the best cooked egg like noodle or egg soup type thing.
I said, if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that this is an egg and I'm eating an egg.
Yeah. It might not be even in a bowl. No. I'm uncertain about the bowl, but the egg, 100% sure.
100% sure. And then they told us later that was not an egg.
Yeah.
It was just made of like weird, like, I don't know.
I can't remember what they said. Yeah, it was like just different stuff. Anyway, crazy. All right, let's move on into podnapping.
Oh my God, I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is Podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from another thing, and we do it ourselves.
Genuine question.
Yeah.
Is it my week?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Listeners won't have been aware of this, but we had reason to have to pre-record, so we had a whole month off.
Oh wait, is it my week?
And genuinely, I cannot remember the order in which we're up to. Anyway, I've got one, so may as well do
Let's
it.
do yours.
So I've got a game here about a subject that I'm really fascinated by, which is products or inventions that started their lives as something completely different to what we know them as today.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you an invention and tell you what it was originally designed to do, and I want to see if you can guess what that current day product is now.
Yep.
I'm going to start with one I feel like we've maybe even talked about on the show before, so it should be an easy one, a bit of a rangefinder.
Yeah.
So this is a food that was invented as a part of a deliberately bland diet to promote digestive health and to suppress sexual urges.
Oh.
And it was designed to align to the inventor's Seventh-day Adventist beliefs. So they were very religious.
Okay. Super religious food.
It's meant to be boring. It's meant to stop people being horny.
Yeah. I don't remember this, but like I'm trying to think of like boring, some people being horny. Mm-hmm. It's got to be like boring food is like yogurt or oats. I feel like that's probably too long ago. This sounds almost like slightly more modern or something for some reason.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, wait, are they going the... Oh, no, it's meant to be boring, you're saying. Yeah. Right. I was thinking the opposite. Have something that's so good it's better than sex.
Oh, wow. You can have sex, but what about these waffles?
Yeah.
So if you get it wrong, you also lose 100 points.
Oh, okay. Okay, if I don't answer though, that's not really wrong, is it?
That's double wrong.
Oh, no. Okay. Boring.
I'll give you this hint. It is a breakfast cereal.
Oh, okay. I don't know why, but rice bubbles.
Oh, you're close. It's cornflakes.
Oh, okay.
This is cornflakes.
Right. What a psychopath.
The inventor of cornflakes was staunchly religious and believed there was a connection between people's diets. Okay. And in fact, this is his quote.
Yeah.
Highly seasoned meats, stimulating sauces, and dainty tidbits with endless variety irritate the nerves and react upon the sexual organs.
Wow. This person is crazy.
So he designed cornflakes to be bland.
Could you imagine that dude, like just living with that dude, being around that guy? He would be so boring. He would just eat the most boring food. His meat, if he had a steak, it would be so tough.
Yeah. Well, because we know that he said he doesn't like highly seasoned meats with stimulating sauces.
Exactly. It's not going to be seasoned. No. It's going to be a bland piece of steak that's cooked to infinity.
He's a bland piece of steak cooked to infinity with a room temperature glass of water.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, this next one was originally developed in 1886 by a pharmacist as a medical tonic to alleviate headaches and morphine addiction.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. I don't think it's this one, but I remember the invention of Viagra was not its first
I
intention.
left that off the list.
Okay. Anyway, well, so that's not that one.
No.
I was just confirming this. That one. Okay, a tonic. Oh, is this? Oh, but it's not what it is anymore.
No,
right.
This is not what people know it for.
Right.
This is just what it was developed to do.
Yeah, because I was
Failed spectacularly, and then they found something that's really good.
Oh, okay. What was it for again? Headaches and what?
It's a medical tonic to alleviate headaches and morphine addiction.
Oh, is this and morphine addiction?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's just another drug, like
Not another drug. This is this is a drink.
He invented coffee.
Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay.
So the original formula of Coca-Cola had coca leaves with trace amounts of cocaine,
Yeah.
and also came from cola nuts, hence Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a tonic, not that great, but as a drink,
It's
love
bloody
it.
delicious. I especially love the trace amounts of cocaine.
So this is a toy, something a child would play with. It was invented in the 1930s as a wallpaper cleaner to remove spots from coal-heated homes.
Wait, so it turned into a toy?
Yes.
Okay. But originally it was to clean.
Wallpaper from people that heated their house with coal because they used to get spots around their walls.
Okay. Oh, is this like I want to say like slime or something?
You're very close.
Oh.
I would say maybe like the old-fashioned version of what slime would
what
be.
slime is.
Like we had slime in the 90s.
like putty or something.
Is there a brand you can think of that does a putty?
Blue Tack is like a putty? No, Blue Tack is
Not
invented
really-
for a different
not
thing.
really a toy either.
Oh yeah, not a toy. Play-Doh.
Play-Doh.
Yes.
This is Play-Doh.
Yeah.
This is another liquid, though not a drink like Coke. This is formulated in 1879 as a surgical antiseptic. It was also then later marketed as a floor cleaner, and then separately after that marketed as a cure for gonorrhea.
Okay. Right. An antiseptic that went to floor cleaner.
Went to cure for gonorrhea.
Right. That is a wild journey.
Now, I will say antiseptic is the closest to what this is technically.
Right. Yeah.
So they almost had it right the first time.
Yeah. Oh, is it like bleach?
It's not bleach. This is safe for consumption.
Oh. But no one's really consuming it. Well, I suppose unless you got gonorrhea.
I'll say it this way. You do put it in your mouth,
Okay.
but don't consume it.
Oh, that's more confusing.
What liquid would you put in your mouth but not swallow?
Oh, like mouthwash.
Yes, this is Listerine.
Oh, Listerine. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that cure for gonorrhea?
Apparently, this is, I got a quote, because I looked this up myself.
Yeah.
There's a quote from the book Freakonomics.
Yeah.
It was later sold in a distilled form as both a floor cleaner and a cure for gonorrhea, but it wasn't a runway excess until the 1920s when it was pitched as a solution for chronic halitosis, a then obscure medical
yes.
term for bad breath.
Yes. It's funny, right? Because, okay, this is a story I'm going to tell about my mum, but like everybody listening, if you ever meet my mum, don't bring it up, okay? And also similarly and hilariously, there's a movie called, I think it's My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I've never actually seen it.
Yeah.
But apparently there's a guy on there that's like,
Windex.
you put Windex on everything. It fixes everything. You got pimples? Put some Windex on there. My mum is the same, but with Listerine.
Oh, really?
She's like, Listerine fixes everything.
Is she using it to clean her floors still, do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised if she did. Which, I mean, I guess technically it's... Because the idea is like, well, it's like antibacterial, like, you know, it kills germs and stuff.
Yeah.
So there is some logic to it. But like, also don't put... like Listerine on your floor. I don't know. It just seems like a funny thing that she does. Anyway.
So this next one is not really a toy or a product or anything. It's just kind of a utility, I guess.
Okay.
But this was originally created in 1957 as a trendy textured wallpaper.
Oh. Okay.
When you hear what it is, you're going to shoot yourself in the head.
Okay. A trendy textured wallpaper.
Yep.
So something that goes on walls. Well, I mean, I'm guessing it no longer goes on walls or something.
If you saw someone put this on the wall, you think they were crazy.
Okay, I'm going to guess based on random texture, bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap.
Oh my God, did I really get it?
Yeah, you did.
That was so good.
This is what bubble wrap was originally invented for.
The problem is I would pop all of it instantly.
Yeah.
And then I'd have some sad bits of plastic on my wall.
So 2 years after its invention, Fielding and Chavez, who created it, struck gold when they pitched the bubble wrap idea to IBM as a protective material for its new fragile computers.
Yeah, funny. That's so crazy.
Look, I'll do. There's three more. I'll do three more.
Yeah, okay.
This was originally developed in World War One as a filter for gas masks.
Oh, okay.
So you'd put it inside of your gas mask. So
it's
a
not
face
used
coverage.
as a filter anymore, I guess.
It's not used as a filter, especially not for gas masks, but it is still something you would apply to your face.
Oh. Is it like a makeup like thingy? Like a
You're in the right territory.
When you put like powder, when you powder your nose, that sponge thing.
Yeah, no, it's not the sponge thing.
Okay.
It's more every house will have a packet of this product.
Oh, okay.
And they are used more for hygiene, but you would apply it to your face. Well, apply it to your face is you would wipe it across your face.
Oh, okay. Oh, like just a tissue.
So yeah, Kleenex.
Ah, okay.
Kleenex started as filters for gas masks, and then they were like, "Oh, these are actually really convenient for
They seem so flimsy as a filter. The tissues that I've got home, they break away pretty quickly. It's no wonder there was so many deaths in World War One.
Maybe that's where there were 3-ply back at the day.
Ah, yes.
So this one is this was originally developed as a military language.
Okay.
And it was during the Napoleonic Wars.
Mm-hmm.
There was a need to communicate between soldiers without being detected by your enemy.
Right.
And it needed to be able to read, like this language needed to be able to be understood and read at night. And the military actually turned this down because it was too difficult.
Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds like Morse code, maybe.
It isn't Morse code.
And because you said written down, so I thought written down means Braille.
Braille,
yeah.
Braille. So
I was actually thinking Braille, but I said Morse code because I was thinking about dots on paper.
Yeah. So Braille was developed originally for like coded messages during the Napoleonic War.
Yeah, interesting.
And they said it was too difficult. Give it to the blind.
Give it to the blind. They'll get it. They've lost one sentence, and all the others are heightened. It'll work.
But it's funny because they did end up inventing like Morse code and such for for communications. But Braille was not a million miles away from that. It's the same basic premise of like using dots to signify different.
Yeah.
This last one, this is a tool. Mm-hmm. It was invented in the late 18th century as a surgical instrument. Mm-hmm. Scottish doctor John Atkin and James Jaffrey developed this to perform a procedure that would widen the pelvis during childbirth. So it was used on women in the late 18th century to widen their pelvis during childbirth. They invented this tool.
Okay.
And tool is the optimum word there.
Okay. I mean, is it a vice thing? I mean, not a vice. Like the opposite of like when
like a clamp,
a clamp.
Oh, like I see what you're saying there. There were things that split stuff apart.
Yeah.
No, this does break things apart, but no, it's not.
Okay.
Not like a pair of forceps or anything.
Yeah.
Again, it is a tool. You would more likely see this in a shed than in a medical. Operation room. Hazem, our listener of this show, is a doctor. He's probably screaming the answer at you right now.
Oh, so
let me use one on a patient.
So they still
no. Okay. You'd be pretty fine if you brought one of these into an operating room.
Okay, is it like?
I guess they do have.
No, it goes in.
I guess they do have more medical versions of it, technically.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Is it a rake?
not a rake. Nelson, this is a chainsaw.
Yeah. What? A
The chainsaw was invented to help with birthing children in the late 18th.
What? Is that what? Are you actually being serious?
Real. Yeah, it's real.
That's insane. How?
So if you came into an operating room like, get that
someone's
baby
having
out.
a baby. That no.
Uh-huh.
It was not used on trees first. That's crazy.
You're like, see how it cut through that pelvis? Man, you can jump through a tree with this. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Oh, something that's not
That'll
alive.
be a fun side hustle for this.
Yeah.
Like, it's mainly known for cutting women open during childbirth, but maybe people are like, do you know you could also use it to chop down trees?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's not move on. Let's end the episode.
Okay.
Actually, that first one is not really a question. We could do that.
You want to do an AMA? I think it's this one, Nelson.
Okay. This is by...
Nope. That's a clip I used for a couple episodes ago.
Oh, I don't remember.
I think it's this one, Nelson.
You got the questions. We have the answers. So ask us anything at all.
This is the Ask Me Anything, where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can write in and ask us anything you want.
Got one here from Tilly. The thing I like about Tilly is, fan of the show, they'd never disrespect us.
Yeah.
They say, cunts. Oh. Kraken.
I like that. Cunts! Exclamation mark. Kraken? Question mark.
Cunts. Kraken.
Cunts. Kraken?
I think it's more like Kraken.
That's not a question. It's like, how's it cracking? How's it going?
Yeah. But like the way you said it is more like you're saying like, is this cracking? Like cracking?
Okay, anyway.
Do it again.
Cunts. Kraken?
Yeah, I still feel like that inflection slightly off. Anyway, it's not the point of this email. Super fun Brussels sprout fact. That is not a sentence that many podcasts can read.
Yeah.
We get to read it.
It's good.
In regards to your recent episode, here's a fun fact. In the 1990s, a Dutch scientist identified the chemical that made Brussels, the other fellas in the Brasilia. Oh, God, why did I decide to read this? Oleracea fam, i.e. cabbage, broccoli, etc.
Yeah.
Bitter, and then crossbred them to make them yummier. The crossbreeding and supply back into the market took a while. So by the late 90s and 2000s, they were back and better than ever. So that's why a lot of people 25 plus, that's very generous for the 90s, who had sprouts as kids didn't like them. But I very much agree with you guys too. My ma did boil the shit out of them until they were mush, which also made them taste filthy. Your time traveling, binge listening, sprout loving correspondent. Oh, Bing, sorry.
Yeah, we're a Bing podcast.
Yeah. Bing listening, sprout loving correspondent Tilly.
Actually, maybe it was meant to be binge. I thought it was a joke of it because we always use Bing when we Google things.
Yeah. When we what?
It's funny that I don't even have another term for that.
When we look things up in a search engine.
Yeah. Because I think we mentioned it's like people boil it great. The thing is that probably one thing there was a correlation between these two things, which I think is that they probably had the like extra bitter flavor back then because they were like a different version. Of it, and so then people boil the shit out of them to make them less bitter. Is probably like the cause and effect, and now you don't have to, because they're less bitter, you don't have to boil the shit out of them because they just taste nice or something. Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know that fact, but kind of forgot about it the other day when we were talking about it. Whatevs. Don't fact check us. But thanks for writing in, Tilly. If you would like to write into us, you can do so. readitpodcast, readitpodcast @gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also reach us at our subreddit or the Discord. The link is in the show notes.
Yes.
And that's it. So thanks for listening, and we will read you later.